Patch 1 for No Rest for the Wicked's Together update just released on March 18th, and here's what changed. First off, a handful of performance fixes have been rolled out, which should result in slightly smoother gameplay. A swath of quality of life changes have been added as well. The first is the ability to swap your rune placements on your weapons and character when talking to Eleanor, which, I'll be honest, is a super pleasant addition that I'm very happy to see, especially added in early access. We can do a little swap-a-doo now. We've also have an improved radial menu for gestures, letting us select them faster by letting go of the menu button when selected on one. It means we get to do the gritty, if you will, on our friends a little bit quicker. There's also UI aspect ratios for players who use the ultra-wide displays, so now you can constrain that interface. And finally, the loading screen when joining a realm now shows the realm name, character name, and level that's currently being used. Speaking of realms, a realm diary's been added. Look at that. That allows us to see what other players have been up to and the story beats that have been started and completed. Text chat is also a new and welcome addition, allowing us to chat with other players in our realms. As you send messages, they will appear above your character's head, as well as appearing in the chat box on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Callouts are also available via the gesture menu, allowing us to quickly communicate with our realm homies, which also do the same thing and appear above our character's head, as well as the chat box. We can now also fight our friends by interacting with them and slapping them with a fish. A temporary red ring is placed around you and your opponent, and a duel will commence. The winner is decided when one player's HP reaches 0, or when one player leaves the boundary. Once the duel is over, your health is brought back to where it was before the duel starts, and no durability is lost in your equipment. Hey, nice little thing there.
Yo! If you're enjoying the video or have found it useful or helpful in any way, I'd really appreciate it if you did made a little likey poo on the video. That'd be really sick. And feel free to subscribe if you want to see more. Bye, yo!
On top of all this, Moon Studios has added the comfort system, which completely overhauls the buffs you get when sleeping. We can no longer stack buffs from all 3 beds available to place in our homes, and instead our buffs are dictated by the comfort level of our home. We can increase our comfort levels by placing various housing items in our homes. Higher quality items will give higher levels of comfort, and having a plethora of varied decorations will give us a bonus to our comfort level. And the comfort levels are as follows. Bear, which has a required comfort level of 0, will give you a 30-minute buff that increases your max health by 20. Basic, with a required comfort level of 25, is a 40-minute buff that increases your max health by 30 and max stamina by 5. Comfortable, which requires comfort level 50, gives you a 50-minute buff that increases your max health by 40, max stamina by 5, and max focus by 20. Then we get into Cozy, which is required comfort level of 100, which is an hour-long buff, which gives you 50 max health, 10 max stamina, and 25 max focus. Then Luxurious, with a required comfort level of 150, gives you an hour and 15-minute buff with 60 max health, 10 max stamina, 35 max focus. And last but not least, we have Opulent, which requires a comfort level of 250, which gives you an hour and a half long buff that increases your max health by a whopping 70, max stamina by 15, and max focus by 50. Balance changes have also been shipped out with this patch, which essentially affects every build across the board. First off, facets have been rebalanced, most notably Sharp now giving 30% increased crit damage compared to the previous 40%, along with Keen and Razor now increasing crit chance by 5% instead of 10%. Some enchantments have been hit with some fairly significant nerfs as well. These include the cap to crit damage and crit chance being reduced from 20% to 10% and 10% to 5% respectively. Armor penetration reduced from 15% to 10%. Damage reduction based on durability reduced from 10% to 5%. Barrier on kill and barrier on food consumption reduced from 25 to 20 and 10 to 5 respectively. And all elemental damage increases reduced from 10% to 5%. When I first recorded this, I completely missed a couple of the enchantments that got nerfed, so I've just gone ahead and tossed them up on the screen for y'all to see. The unique rings have also been balanced as well. The Battlecry ring now reduces healing by 20%, and the Ring of Determination increases focus cost by 20%. However, the base enchantment of these rings have not been touched at all. Along with the unique rings, the Rune Ring has had its rune damage reduced from 30% to 20%, and the cap on the Band of Calmness's focus gain has been reduced from 25% to 15%. Vials of Defense now also grant plus 10 poise at all tiers, and all vial scaling has been adjusted to better align survivability and resource gain. Bows have also been nerfed pretty hard across the board, with damage dropping off the farther away you are from enemies, and arrows now curving downward toward the end of their range. Other changes include damage reduction scaling updated to prevent being able to become too tanky. There are some immortal builds going on there. Shock no longer multi-hits the same enemy. Endgame enemy HP has been slightly increased, and lifesteal scaling has been adjusted to better align with overall combat pacing. So I'm thinking most likely got nerfed. Lastly, we've got a load of bug fixes that shipped with this patch as well. Some of these fixes to note are as follows. Elemental gems no longer work when placed in multiple pieces of gear, so we are now truly limited to 1 gem per loadout. Even if you got the same, if it's the same chipped ruby, or whatever, we can only have one per loadout. Thorns no longer triggers lifesteal. Pestilence outbreaks now naturally occur over time, so we'll just get them happening instead of always having to burn stuff at campfires, which is pretty sick. Bosses no longer drop multiples of the same unique. There are many more bug fixes among these, however, for the sake of time, I have left a link to the patch in the description below, or you can pause the video here to see them.
Thank you for taking the time to check out this little YouTube video of mine. If you have any questions, Wicked related or otherwise, feel free to leave a little comment down below, or you can catch me live on twitch.tv/Parsington. I'm usually live Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. MST. I'd love to see you there. For now, peace out, take care of yourselves, and stay hydrated.